3000 банка. At first glance, this town seems to be covered in a thick coat of ash. But in Prokopyevsk, in southern Siberia, residents are struggling with the charcoal-colored snow.
My daughter was playing here yesterday. Her gloves are now completely black.
Residents are blaming the coal-fired power stations in the region. Although the smoke is supposed to be filtered, particles are still coming into contact with the snow. The head of the local power station rejects any responsibility.
We regularly check the emissions and filter everything, but we cannot go around picking up the dust from the coal in the streets.
Local authorities have demanded that tests be carried out, and residents are being moved into temporary housing further out as a precautionary measure.
We found ourselves in a very difficult situation. The coal mines are now nearer to the towns, but a number of mining companies have agreed to relocate residents living close by.
The Kuznets Basin has some of the largest coal deposits in the world, a crucial resource for the Russian economy.
New this morning, a disease affecting deer is spreading across the country, and some are concerned it might affect humans. CBS 42 News reporter Connie Gasquet live in studio with details on the condition that's being called zombie deer disease. Con?
Well, guys, the disease affects a deer's brain and causes erratic behavior. That's where the nickname comes from. And some people are even comparing it now to mad cow disease. I spoke to a wildlife official about it. She says it is part of the same family of diseases as mad cow disease, but this disease has not spread to humans yet. CDC leaders hope to keep it that way, and wildlife leaders here in Alabama hope to prevent it from even spreading to deer in our state.
It's important for folks to know that in addition to monitoring the deer herd that we have currently in Alabama, the Wildlife and Freshwater Fisheries Division is taking active measures to try to keep infected deer and deer carcasses out of this state.
She says they've been testing deer for this disease since 2002. They've tested more than 8,000 altogether. They found 0 cases in the state of Alabama. And they say if you see any deer exhibiting unusual behavior, you should report it to DCNR so they can have those deer tested.
Since the Philippine government declared a measles outbreak on February 6th, more Filipino children are getting sick from the disease. According to the health department, more than 8,000 cases and over 130 deaths have been reported. Cases are expected to rise since the outbreak is still not under control. Most of the cases recorded this year are children below 4 years old, and half of the cases and nearly 60% of the deaths are in Metro Manila and Calabarzon region.
The most cutting-edge thing about Hannes Huerblad isn't the phone in his hand. It's the microchip actually in his hand. The tiny implant is the latest advance in a biohacking technology that is steadily becoming a part of normal life in Sweden.
We have created a new implant, which is not a chip, it's a full device where you can add different lights, different vibration, different functions. Sweden is a very tech-literate society. And I think this is the main explanation, really, why a lot of Swedes are adopting chip implants.
Swedes haven't been shy about upgrading themselves with the new version. Thousands already have microchip implants that they use in their daily lives, waving their hand to gain entrance to the gym, confirm their ID or make payments. A short moment of pain not putting them off becoming part Swede, part machine.
This event is an implant party, simply where ordinary people can show up and get a microchip embedded under their skin. The biohacking movement in Sweden is hosting them all over Europe, but it's at home where they get the most willing recipients.
I think it's really cool. You don't have to carry any keys or anything. It's just your body. In maybe 10 years, everything will be in your hand.
In Sweden, more than anywhere else, the future is already here. The national train company SJ has around 2,600 people signed up to use microchips instead of train tickets.
Did you see that?
And no need to mind the generation gap. 18-year-old Felicia and father Magnus still bear the scars of their new implants. Student Hannah Herving is also freshly chipped and now just needs to program it to open doors. Although importantly for a future career, it does already connect to her LinkedIn.
Some people say I'm mad that I don't know if it's safe and all that, but people have been putting these chips into animals for 20 years, so I'm not worried about that.
The long-term goal is for the new chips to help provide medical care in remote communities. They're already getting under the skin of the Swedes and may soon become just another normal part of modern life and of the human body.
8.5 magnitude earthquake struck eastern Ecuador early Friday morning. The United States Geological Survey says the quake had a depth of 130 kilometers and its epicenter was in a sparsely populated area close to the border with Peru. Strong tremors were reportedly felt in the city of Cuenca, over 250 kilometers away. There are no reports of casualties or serious damage to buildings.
Over in Russia, Russian President Vladimir Putin is threatening to target America with nuclear weapons. He made the remarks in his annual speech to both houses of the Russian parliament today.
Putin says that he would not make the first move, but that he'd have no choice if the U.S. puts its own nuclear missiles in Europe. Tensions have been high after the Trump administration's decision to withdraw from the Cold War-era nuclear treaty. Before that announcement, analysts did warn that it might embolden Russia.
Теперь к военной части послания. Эксперты комментируют новейшее оружие, о котором вчера говорил президент, к примеру, о гиперзвуковой ракете «Циркон». Тактико-технические характеристики у Елизаветы Храмцовой.
Как нож сквозь масло. Так эксперты описывают возможность новой российской гиперзвуковой системы «Циркон» оставить неудел любую систему ПВО и ПРО потенциального противника. Высокоточная крылатая ракета «Циркон» сможет бить на дальность более 1000 километров. Поражает и гиперзвуковая скорость – 9 махов. «Циркон» станет угрозой не только ракетам средней дальности, размещенным в Европе. С его помощью можно будет поразить ключевые элементы системы управления, центры принятия решений, которые располагаются за пределами европейского континента.
С учетом того, что ракетные комплексы американские, понятно, что управление ими будет осуществляться из центров принятия решений, размещенных на территории американского континента.
Появление такого типа вооружений играет особую роль в свете ситуации вокруг договора о РСМД, который Вашингтон решил похоронить. Если соглашение все же будет расторгнуто, американские партнеры смогут разместить на европейском континенте ударные группировки. В Румынии в рамках американской ПРО уже развернуты комплексы Aegis Ashore с универсальными установками МК-41. Такие же комплексы совсем скоро появятся и в Польше. С них можно запускать не только оборонительные ракеты, но и ударные томагавки, которые бьют на 2400 километров. Эксперты подчеркивают, появление циркона способно разрушить иллюзию Пентагона о том, что американские военные в случае обострения останутся в безопасности. Не поможет противнику и система ПРО.
Если носитель с ракетами «Циркон» будет находиться на удалении 1500 километров от береговой черты, то достичь объекты поражения в прибрежной полосе на глубине не менее 500 километров ракеты смогут за 5 минут. Что можно сделать за это время? В лучшем случае обнаружить летящие к цели ракеты, но никак не перехватить. Такая гиперзвуковая система, как «Циркон», практически прошивает любую систему ПРО и ПВО. Защиты от нее нет.
В том, что центры принятия решений будут поражены, не оставляет сомнений и количество цирконов, которое может быть принято на вооружение. По словам экспертов, количество надводных кораблей и подводных лодок с цирконами, несущих боевую службу в Западной Атлантике и восточной части Тихого океана, может составить 2-3 корабля на каждом направлении. И у каждого на борту может быть около 40 ракет. О работах по созданию перспективной новинки Владимир Путин говорил еще во время предыдущего послания Федеральному собранию. Сегодня, подчеркнул президент, работа над гиперзвуковой ракетой «Циркон» идет успешно и в запланированные сроки. Запускать новинку планируется с морских носителей, серийных надводных кораблей и подводных лодок. Часть из них либо уже произведена, либо строится под ракетные комплексы высокоточного оружия «Калибр». Это значит, что создание нового типа вооружения не ударит по бюджету. Все усилия Пентагона создать глобальную систему ПРО обесценивает и морская система «Посейдон», о которой также в своем послании говорил президент. Система малоразмерная и роботизированная. Беспилотные подводные аппараты «Посейдона» крайне сложно обнаружить и тем более перехватить. Владимир Путин отметил, первую атомную подводную лодку с беспилотником «Посейдон» спустят на воду уже этой весной.
Donald Trump's delivered a stark warning to the Venezuelan government Monday. The US president stressed his country's commitment to regime change in the impoverished South American nation and called on its military now to rise up against President Nicolas Maduro.
And today I have a message for every official who is helping to keep Maduro in place. They are risking their future. They are risking their lives. You must not follow Maduro's orders to block humanitarian aid.
Who's the Commander-in-Chief of the National Bolivarian Armed Forces? Donald Trump from Miami. They believe that they own our country.
The days of socialism and communism are numbered not only in Venezuela, but in Nicaragua and in Cuba as well.
Donald Trump in Miami, with his tired rhetoric, questioned the right of our free country to adopt the ideas of Christian human socialism, our socialism, in an almost Nazi-style speech.
We are following a developing story out of Venezuela this morning where video appears to show the Venezuelan military opening fire on a caravan of members of the National Assembly. That video has been retweeted by Senator Marco Rubio.
The senator also sharing other videos overnight showing what is reportedly tear gas being fired. CBS 4's Carly Barnett is live outside his office in Southwest Miami-Dade with what we're learning this morning. Carly, good morning.
Maribel, Lauren, good morning. Nicolas Maduro continuing to block any attempted aid coming into his country. Amid this ongoing crisis in Venezuela, that video has emerged, which appears to show some sort of clash between the National Assembly and Maduro forces. Let's take a listen. Now, this video was first tweeted by a Venezuelan news agency, and then it was retweeted by Senator Marco Rubio. You could hear in that video, it sounds like gunshots. It's unclear who is firing at who in this situation, but the first reports say that civilians were clearing a path for a caravan of members of the National Assembly. Now, later reports say that the bus may have been carrying Maduro forces that then opened fire on civilians by the roadside. Still working to gather those details. Reports of shots fired have not yet been confirmed, but as you heard in that video, it does sound like shots were being fired. They do say tear gas was involved. Now, Senator Marco Rubio has been calling the convoy. He says he's not able to connect with them. There are caravans at the border that are just full of humanitarian aid waiting to get in, but President Nicolas Maduro is not letting that happen. Maduro has even closed Venezuela's border with Brazil, again blocking any attempt at aid, food, water getting into the country.
Сибирские ученые начали серию экспериментов по созданию термоядерного плазменного двигателя для космических ракет. Он может быть использован для дальних полетов, например, к Луне или Марсу. В чем преимущество новинки перед традиционными двигателями, узнал Кирилл Воробьев.
Долететь до соседних планет за считанные дни будущее космических экспедиций создают в лабораториях Института ядерной физики в Новосибирске. Ученые придумали, как разогнать ракеты до рекордных скоростей.
Даю запуск.
Как в двигатель уместить энергию Солнца? Ответ есть. Разработка смола помогает нагреть плазму до сверхвысоких температур, больше 10 миллионов градусов, и разогнать вещество до необходимой для межпланетных путешествий скорости.
Наша российская идея Беклемишева. Это наши конструкторы, наши технологи, наши рабочие и наши физики, которые ведут эксперименты.
Главная часть разработки — плазма будет двигаться с помощью магнитного поля. Смола работает как насос и создает реактивный поток. Химическим двигателем таких показателей достичь крайне сложно. Кстати, внутри установка напоминает знакомую всем мясорубку.
В мясорубке вот эта штука крутится. А если этот винт крутить в другую сторону, то плазма будет ускоряться. И это аналог двигателя плазменного.
Пока это только опытная установка, на ней ученые проводят свои первые эксперименты, чтобы доказать все теории. Как только все будет подтверждено, начнут строить установки для жизни. Они будут превышать размеры этой в несколько раз. Таких установок, как в Новосибирске, сегодня больше нет. Если все теории сибирских физиков найдут подтверждение, то принципы работы смолы лягут не только в основу космического двигателя. Они приблизят создание термоядерного реактора. Кирилл Воробьев, Сергей Бабичев, Александр Ганов. Вести из Новосибирска.
Because of the way the government auctions off our wireless spectrum, U.S. consumers pay a lot more for wireless data than anybody else in the world, and the president wants to change that. He also wants to use these changes in parceling out spectrum in a way that's going to help us lead the way in 5G technology. The president tweeted out earlier today, "I want 5G and even 6G technology in the U.S. as soon as possible. It is far more powerful, faster, and smarter than the current standard." Luke Ventures managing partner Gene Munster joins us now. So, Gene, as simply as possible, because this isn't very easy, but make it simple. Can the president combine lower internet costs while putting us in the lead for 5G?
Unlikely to provide lower internet costs is likely to help accelerate the rollout of 5G. And David, if I can quickly talk about that, is that there's this auction process that you talked about. It's complicated today. The government runs that auction process. What that means is this is the tower companies and the carriers getting spectrum to provide this service. So there's a way that the government can make that easier, which will help get these licenses, which help kind of roll out. There's also a hardware piece to this, which the government maybe can help facilitate and fast track, maybe even give some financial incentives to the tower companies to build 5G. But as far as the ability to actually lower internet costs, the way that that could happen is this, is right now your cable company really has you. And it is difficult for either a cable or your DSL provider for you to find another way to get internet. It's this duopoly type of an approach. So there's a lot of control around pricing. But 5G is fast. It's wicked fast. It's somewhere between 10 and 100 times faster than current 4G, and would be faster than your home network today. And where the opportunity to lower pricing comes from just simply more competition from these carriers, like, for example, Verizon and AT&T will be offering you broadband wireless service, and you get rid of that router at home and just run from the cloud.
So, Gene, that sounds exciting. We'll have to move to an Asian country to experience it, I guess. I'm glad the president's bringing this up, but what I don't understand is we have the same problem with broadband, with copper wire. It's the same basic problem. We're paying like the 6th highest rate, I believe, in the world, but have like the 44th or so fastest internet. And some of this has to be, I know the government in Europe like forces the monopolies to like sell the bandwidth through their pipes to other competitors, and the FCC here kind of takes a low-level regulatory attitude toward it. How much is that, and how much is it like the healthcare problem where Americans just consume more bandwidth? Like, do we like sit there falling asleep with their hand in the Doritos, binge watching 4K shows on repeat? They don't do that in Europe, and it has to cost more here and be slower. Or why is France beating us in something we invented with Al Gore?
Well, I think that the simple answer is this. I think that the consumption patterns are pretty simpler. It's not about a bunch of Americans binging on 4K technology. I think that just the pricing structure that's been set up has been a little bit more egregious here in the U.S. And so it's not about an infrastructure problem. It's about just a competition and back to effectively how these markets are created, the competitive markets are created. That's what actually causes the difference in the pricing. It's not some sort of logistical. And another important part regarding the pricing and what we pay for internet is back to this idea about using 5G for your home, is that just takes out all that old infrastructure. All that goes away and everything goes to the tower. And so that is a step function difference. So any legacy costs that are associated with that, those go away, and you have an opportunity to have a lower cost solution here with 5G.
Well, this morning, Maria Bartiromo spoke with AT&T CEO Randall Stevenson about this topic. Let's hear what he had to say on the future of 5G.
It's going to make autonomous driving possible, virtual reality, augmented reality. It's going to change your industry dramatically, because once you get to a world of 5G, you can then begin to conceive of a world without screens, because these become your screen. Your ability to enjoy content and consume content without screens is a very different place than anything we have conceived of before. So it's going to change a lot of industries over the next 5 to 10 years.
I just want my Netflix to stop freezing up. I don't need to see.
Quickly, Gene, if you could respond to that little clip.
Yeah, I had a little glitch on Russian Doll. The main character keeps dying. It's strange. Anyway,
Gene, how do you have internet? How do you have computers without screens? Quickly.
Computers without a screen comes from augmented reality, and so you'd have some form of a wearable, and that's just a whole other opportunity around 5G is what was just laid out in that clip.